Hey, what's going on, everyone? So in this video, we're going to take a look at 5 different investing apps. Each one of these has its own pros and cons to it. So we're going to break all this down in this video. I will leave links to all 5 of these different apps down in the description below. So what I did is I actually made a little chart for you. It's going to be a lot easier to just visualize this, to be able to see what's going on here and what each one of these apps actually provides that maybe the other apps might not provide. We're going to break down the prices. We're going to break down everything in this video. So let's get started. All right, guys, so you're going to get a lot of information right here in the next like 2.5 minutes. All right, so these are the 5 apps we have. We have Acorns, Stash, Robinhood, M1 Finance, and Betterment. These are all apps you can get on the App Store, iOS or Android. So let's run over the prices really quick. This is really important. This is the first thing that I look at. Now, Acorns and Stash, they're both pretty similar, $1 a month, or if you're over $5,000 for your account value, it's going to be 0.25% per year, which really isn't too bad. That's going to be a lot cheaper than a lot of traditional financial advisors, but it can certainly add up after a while with that 0.25%. If you calculate that over a span of 50 years, it could really add up. Now, Robinhood, it's 100% free. Not even kidding. There's like 0 fees in there. It's 100% legit. A lot of people know about Robinhood. It's probably the most popular investing app. If I had to guess which one would be the most downloaded, it's probably Robinhood. M1 Finance, also pretty much like Robinhood. It's very much free. And you can also get fractional shares on it, which is really, really interesting. Now, Betterment, this is going to charge you anywhere between 0.25% and 0.4%. Really cool thing about this, though, is that you get sort of more professional financial advice, which we're going to get into in the next couple of minutes here. So let's first talk about something that I think is pretty important is can you actually buy individual stocks with these different apps? So with Acorns, you can't. Acorns is only going to provide you with 5 different investment options. You can go anywhere from conservative to aggressive or moderate. Anywhere in the middle there, you can go between those 5 different options. And so that kind of limits you to some stuff. Now, Stash, you can buy individual stocks. You can buy fractional shares, which means that if you wanted to buy, say, Amazon stock, well, guess what? Amazon right now is over $1,800 per share. But if you wanted to get Amazon stock through Stash, you could put in $5 and get a piece of an Amazon share. So that's what's really cool about Stash. Robinhood does offer a lot of stocks. This is probably the one that's going to be your best bet if you're looking for individual stocks. What I should have mentioned with Stash is that they only give you a certain option of stocks that you can buy. So they're only going to give you maybe a couple dozen different stocks that you can buy through Stash. But with Robinhood, you can quite literally buy thousands of different stocks and ETFs and bond ETFs and all kinds of different options with Robinhood. Now, M1 Finance, just kind of like Robinhood in the same way, except you can actually buy fractional shares. So, M1 Finance might have the upper hand on this one. And then Betterment, they can't really allow you to buy individual stocks. So this is more so, funds that they will kind of set up for you and manage for you. So it's definitely the most passive out of these 5 here. I would say that Betterment is the option for people who just don't really want to spend time to, pick their own companies or pick their own investments, but just kind of lay out some plans and some guidelines, and then Betterment will kind of take care of the rest. So it's great for people who don't want to spend too much time. Now, the next thing that I want to briefly touch on is custodial accounts. Now, this is really important for anybody who is not 18 years old yet, or if you have a kid who wants to start investing, or if you want to help your kid learn about money and financial freedom, this could be a great option. So Acorns, do they offer these custodial accounts, which essentially just means, can you set up an account for your child? Acorns, they don't technically offer custodial accounts, but they offer something that's pretty similar. You can set up a part of your Acorns account, a designated part for your account for your child or a minor. Now, Stash, you can do custodial accounts. Amazing. That's what I like about Stash. Robinhood and M1 Finance, you can't do that yet. So you can't set up a Robinhood or an M1 Finance account if you are not 18 years old yet. And Betterment, well, they sort of are doing like what Acorns does at the moment, which you can set aside some money for your child through that program, but it's not technically a separate account. Now let's get into the meat here, the key features that really set each one of these apps apart and what makes them better from each other. So here's the deal with Acorns. Now, Acorns probably has the most amount of different possibilities in terms of things that the other 4 apps do not have. And so one of them is called Found Money. This is pretty neat. Usually what will happen through here is that they'll actually give you essentially kind of like coupons and discounts for using certain products through the Acorns app. So for example, you can get like $25 for signing up for LifeLock, or for example, they might give you 1% of your total purchase from the Apple Store or from Walmart. They might give you 1 or 2%. So that's what's kind of interesting about it. You might actually make a little bit of money through the Acorns app that they'll then deposit into your account. Now, another thing that they have is retirement accounts. They have that pretty well set up. I think that's going to cost $2 a month for the retirement account. And then they also have something called Roundups. This is something that I haven't seen any of these other apps really doing, and that is they can actually connect your credit card to your account, and then every time that you make a purchase, say you buy a cup of coffee for $2.54. Well, what Acorns is going to do is they're going to take 46 cents out of your account to round it up to the most nearest dollar, which would be $3. So they'll take 46 cents out of your bank account and put it into your Acorns account. So it's a really awesome option for people who kind of, maybe they're not too good at saving money, or they just want to add some extra money to their investment account. That's what's really neat about Acorns. Now they also offer a debit card. You can pre-order these. They're just kind of rolling them out now. So this is kind of something that's really coming out, and it's new, but they do charge you, I think, $1 a month for that. So I don't know if it's entirely worth it for those extra features on there for Acorns. Now Stash, it looks like there's not a lot on here on this list of what really makes Stash, great. And I didn't really add too much on here, just fractional shares and the ability to add money to your account on a daily or a weekly or a monthly basis. And that's pretty interesting to do. And I know I didn't add too much on here, but I really do feel like there should be more on here. There's something about Stash that I really just do like about the app. It's pretty easy to use. It's easy to set up. I like the fact that you can do a custodial account with them. And so that's kind of the vibe of Stash. Now Robinhood, this is going to give you the most amount of options here. So not only can you trade thousands of different stocks, but you're also able to trade options. So this is something that they rolled out maybe a few months ago now, but it's a really interesting possibility. It could bring on a little bit more risk if you don't know what you're doing, but if you do know what you're doing, you can make a pretty decent amount of money with that possibility of trading options for free. So the keyword there is free. All of this is free through Robinhood. You can also do some day trading. I think it limits you to a few times per week where you can buy and sell the same security within the same day, but it does allow you to do that, and it's all totally free. Now Robinhood Gold is going to cost you a little bit of money. This is kind of how you can buy on margin essentially, where they're going to charge you, a couple dollars a month, and then they'll give you sort of like a line of credit. They'll allow you to double your investment, and then they're going to charge you a little bit of money for that. And you can also invest into cryptocurrencies if you're considering any of those. That's something that you can do through Robinhood, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and they're always adding new cryptocurrencies to their list of possible investments. Now M1 Finance, they do offer a lot as well. Stocks, ETFs, fractional shares, they offer a lot of different possibilities. Something else that I noticed that they do that I haven't seen these other ones doing is offering loans to users of their app or even of their browser. And so this is kind of interesting. I've never taken out a loan with M1 Finance, but I've read about them and it seems quite interesting. It says that they don't do any hard pulls on your credit. They don't deny you from loans, and their loans are pretty low rates. So maybe I would look into it. Obviously, you're going to be bringing on some risk when you're taking out money. I wouldn't just, take money out from M1 Finance just kind of for the hell of it. You probably want to think about that before actually acting on it. But it's something that maybe you want to consider if there's ever a time where you need some extra money and you need to borrow some money. I would look into M1 Finance and how they set that up, because I've never taken out loans through this company. Now they also do some auto rebalancing, so they'll actually rebalance your portfolio for you if there's a certain time in the market where they think it would be best to do that. Their software can automatically do that for you. And they also have retirement accounts. I think most of these actually do have retirement accounts, but I just threw that in there because M1 Finance looks like it has a pretty decent retirement account through their program. Now Betterment, what makes this company so much better better than the others? I really didn't try to say that twice, but I think the biggest upper edge that Betterment would have over the other 4 apps here is the fact that they actually have licensed experts and they have financial advisors that you can reach out to and you can talk to and you can have conversations with them about your future plans. So like I said earlier, I feel like Betterment is really the one that is the most professional out of all 4 of these or all 5 of these different apps. They really offer a lot of different opportunities in terms of long-term planning and sort of this passive idea behind long-term planning. And that's why they're only going to charge you between 0.25 and 0.4% for their annual fee, which isn't too terrible. I think once you get up closer to 0.4%, that's when you start getting into the traditional financial advisor fees, which is typically what they'll charge you for. So now that we took a look at all 5 of these different apps, how would I personally rank each one of these? If I could only get one of these apps, which one would it be? So let me just rank these 1 to 5 on my personal opinion on what I think would be the best route for someone to take. So I think if you could only get one app, or if you're only interested in getting one app, I would really go with the Robinhood app. So the reason for this, there's so many features behind this app and they're adding new stuff. Seems like almost every week they're adding something new to the Robinhood app. You can now trade before and after market hours, and they're offering just so many opportunities, and it's almost entirely free. It's actually really very free unless you get Robinhood Gold, which you probably don't need. So Robinhood is number 1 for myself. Stash is actually number 2. The reason for this, it just provides such a great opportunity for many people. I like the fact you're allowed to have custodial accounts. It might not provide as many features as something like Acorns or Betterment, but I think that I really like Stash because of the ability to invest into fractional shares, so you can get $5 worth of Amazon stock per week and you have an auto buying Amazon stock every week, and it's just very easy to use. So I really like the flow of the app, and it is very cheap. Now, if you're a college student, I forgot to mention this earlier, if you're a college student, I believe you can get it for free for a certain amount of time. I know I don't pay for Stash at the moment. Maybe that's why I'm slightly biased for it. But so if you are a student, look into that. You might be able to get it for free for a few years or something like that. Now, number 3 on this list, it has to be M1 Finance. Now, I probably would have put M1 Finance at number 2, but the only reason why I couldn't is just based off the fact that I haven't had it long enough to really give it that number 2 spot. So I've had it for a little while now, but I still haven't had it as long as the other 4 apps that I've had in this video that I mentioned, but it really does offer a lot of great opportunities. So M1 Finance would be number 3. Number 4 would have to be Betterment. Betterment offers so many opportunities. I just do like the fact that you're able to talk to a financial advisor, and it seems much more professional than the other 4, or at least in my opinion, from my viewpoint. Now, number 5 would have to be Acorns. That's only really due to the fees, and I've also actually not really gained too much money through my Acorns account, just from a personal experience. But they really don't offer too many opportunities when it comes to choice of investment. You get 5 different choices for investing on Acorns, and for someone who likes to actively invest, it just doesn't seem like enough for me. And if you want to expand in the future, then I don't think Acorns is always going to be the best bet for you. If you're thinking, maybe you want to start investing into individual companies next year, well, Acorns, you can't necessarily do that. So that's what I like about the others versus Acorns. But you know what? They are all amazing apps. I really have nothing but praise for all 5 of these, and I truly do mean that. So that kind of wraps up this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.